Hi, what we got here today is a drippy or leaky tap. However you turn off the taps, it keeps dripping. Sometimes it actually dribbles a bit more, sometimes just drips. Also it's evident when you turn the tap on, you start getting dribble from the tap shaft, goes down and collects on the bottom of the tap on the sink. That's why it's making all this lime scale residue down here and around the shaft of the tap. You can see it started getting water there. Now we can replace the cartridges or we can replace the tap. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the tap. First we need to have a replacement tap, because this kitchen is going to be changed next year. Customer chose just a cheap tap from one of the supermarkets, just as a temporary measure, so it doesn't drip. And so we need to have a tap, that's one thing. The other thing is we need to locate the pipes underneath. I've got some stuff here, I'll have to clear that out. Over there we can see there is an isolator. Let me try to put light on. Right, the light's on now. We can see isolator there. That's for one leg. And then we got, that is red for hot, I suppose, will be here. And we got another one here. There is an isolator down there. So I'll clear this cabinet out and we'll access all the pipes and the valves. There you go. Now cabinet is cleared out. So I'm going to turn the cold water off. And then right there, turn the hot water off as well. As you can see, very often when you're turning these little spindles on the these isolators on and off, when you turn them, you get a bit of dribble of water through it. But usually it stops. One is in fully on or fully off position. If it doesn't stop, it just started dribbling now. When I was turning, it stopped now. But if it doesn't, you have to replace the isolator. So now that's a step one. Step two will be turn the taps on to make sure that it's off. There you go, it is off. Now we need to undo these hoses, and just to warn you, there will be some water within the hose and within the tap that will dribble down. So you need to get some catchment vessel there to catch that water so it doesn't make all the cabinet wet. Alright, I got this little kitchen salad bowl to collect the water. So let me try, hope the camera is not going to be on the way. So I'm going to hold one side with pliers and then do the other side. There you go. Bit of drip. The rest we should be able to do it with fingers. I'm trying to move my hands so I'm not on the way of the camera, as you can see. Right, it's not going with fingers, so I have to. There you go, that's the water from the tap, residual water. So that's why we really need to have some catchment vessel there. to catch that water. Now we got another one to do. I'm not sure the camera will be able to reach that. Let me reposition. Right, that's done. Now, let's see if we can see that here. It's to look at the tap from underside. There is a tap. I'll show now on the new tap what we're actually looking at directly. There is a little nut that we need to undo and like a half moon washer. Right, here's the tap. Most of the kitchen taps, say 90%, they got same or similar fittings. So we'll see this one might have actually different fitting to tap that we got there already. So we got two hoses that will connect to our pipes down below, and on this side here they actually connect to on the side of the tap. You can see two threaded holes there inside. Now that will connect, and this section, it will go from underneath. Hose is fed through it. Connect to the tap and then screwed on from underneath. So that's basically that bit. I'm gonna take the old tap off, and then I'm going to show you exactly once the tap is out what I was doing there. Right, let's run through what we need to do here. There's a threaded bar. This is the most common fitting. You got one threaded bar, sometimes there are two of them, and you got this nut up here that holds this half moon washer where the hose is going through it. You want to undo that nut there. So easiest way to undo that nut is with tubular spanner like these. The best is to have a few different sizes, because for different taps they use different nuts. Usually goes 10 mil, so like a size 10 spanner or size 13 spanner, sometimes 11. So just if you have a selection, you can always try and see which one is. So very often you need to actually put a screwdriver through the hole to give you leverage to undo it. Sometimes, especially on these ceramic sinks, sometimes actually you can do it by hand, because it's very hard to achieve full tension initially when they're tightening up. let me try. Yeah, I got that on now. Oh yeah, it's coming off, and you can see on the top it's getting loose. So I'm just turning this spanner until I get that nut off. Pain in the backside is if you had a leak down that shaft and that threaded bar gets all rusted up. That's pain, because you have to find a way of cutting that off. And as you can imagine, it's always when you're doing work under a kitchen sink, it's tight with space, as we can see here. Very often you need to get your head in, look at what you're doing or what you're going to do, and then follow rest on blind by just feeling with your fingers the way through for the washers and nuts, screws, anything else. Right, it's almost done. I can feel it's coming to the end. Almost done. Right, there it is. I'll put it on top. It will be a rubber washer part as well. Now I can take tap out. You can't pull both hoses together. You have to pull one hose with one fitting and then another hose with other fitting. So the way how that was fitted underneath was basically like this. We had a rubber washer one, then we had a metal washer clamping on that ceramic sink, and this was the nut that went all the way in and tightened against that metal washer and clamped on ceramic sink. Now you can sometimes have access with a small spanner to that, but it's easiest way, once it's underneath sink, as you could see, use a tubular spanner and slide it on, grip that nut and undo it with a spanner as an extension, because you can always, if it's tight, you can always use these holes to put screwdriver and actually put some leverage to undo it. Sometimes if it gets rusty here, still try to do it on a spanner, because what is going to happen often, the whole bar is going to rotate and come undone from the body of the tap. So this system, it's one of the most common ones. Don't even think about reusing the hoses or anything like that. It's not possible. Now for new tap, before I do that, I'll actually clean up, try to clean up this for customers, just make it a bit nicer. I'm gonna look if they got some bleach or something. I just poured a little bit of bleach on that lime scale. I'm gonna try scrape it off. The bleach helps softening the lime scale off. It's just easier to do it now than with the tap in place. In 6 months' time, but I just like to keep it clean. That's much better now. much better. Right, so now I'm going to it's a bit better. Separate this section. Because I found out that I can't push this fitting with the other hose in. I have to feed it all from underneath. So I have to connect the tube to the top. And this is a little pedestal washer that will sit up above the hole, and it's got a little see-through silicone O-ring. Seal up around that hole. So I'm going to put that on as well. Now I'm going to feed this hose into the hole. You don't need any tools when you do this. And you just turn it. That's it. Don't twist the hose. These hoses don't like to be twisted or kinked. Just a bit of patience, bit of lining up. You can't cross thread it because it will not let you. You don't have much of the torque by twisting hose to cross thread. So it will only go in once it's lined up. Two main differences between these two hoses are the fittings. The old one had the male 1/2 inch. This new one has got female 1/2 inch. They can actually fit into each other. So I'll have to change the way our pipes are fitting down below. Another little thing. This is support for underneath the tap if you fitting the tap on stainless steel sinks. That got very thin stainless steel metal wall here, so it stops the wobble on the tap on the metal. Then this plastic part would go underneath. So if that's a sink, that will go underneath, and then all this will be screwing up underneath that, and that will give a bit of stability to surrounding area of the metal sink. Now this is not metal sink, it's ceramic, so we don't need that. That's going to go in a recycling bin. We'll need these three parts. We got a silicone washer that will go on first, and then the metal washer, and then this big plastic nut that gets turned by hand. We don't need any special tools for it. So to push this down, you can't push it again together. The hole is too small for that. You push one hose, then push the other hose. Don't kink them. Just make sure that all this is nice and tight. Position the tap, and then we'll go on underneath and feed the hoses through this section and up. I hope that's going to be visible there. So first, the rubber washer. Then the metal washer, And then we have to feed this plastic nut through it. It's a bit tight, but it goes through. So that's our arrangement. Now we can hold one hand down on this bit underneath and one hand on the top of it. Right, so that is done now. Now next thing, we need to connect our hoses from the top as they're coming. You'll have left and right hose. Left hose is your hot water one, and right hose will go to cold water. So we know that this is our hot water. So this is our left hand side one. I'll have to connect it directly onto this valve because this fitting here has got female end. I need to connect it to the other side. So undo top of the valve. Bit of residual water there. Now we can see top of our valve. It's got half inch male thread, and on this top connector we got half inch female thread. Then we can actually just tie this up like that, finger tight, and then we'll do another about quarter to half turn with a spanner. I'm just going to hold the valve as well. You don't want to over tighten it, you don't want to cut and crush that washer inside too much. So that's the hot side connected. Now I need to look and connect our cold side. This is a bit, I think that needs to be connected like that. Right, so we got female, we got another female there. So let's find in a toolbox some fittings which we can fit here. Right, the fitting I'm going to use is this one. It's called the top connector, half inch male thread with 15mm compression on the end. Now because this end of the pipe already got olive there, compression olive, and the nut, I'm going to reuse them by removing this nut and washer, and I'll place that on, and that will be screwed up together. Now because this nut and this olive is not being crushed with this fitting, there might be some tolerance there, so either you can always wrap a few layers of PTFE tape, or you can use a PTFE paste. I prefer PTFE paste, and just make sure it's allowed to use for drinking water. So just coat it up like that. And we got compression side. That one has got a little bevel inside of the pipe. That's where the olive crushes into. And we got the top connector side, which is actually got flat edge to it. Don't hold it for the thread. You don't want to damage that thread. Just hold it for the rim. And then tighten the nut up. Camera is a little bit on the way. Can't see it. Right, that's connected. Now we can connect our tap to it. Let's do it by hand, and then just do quarter or half turn with a spanner. You don't want to overdo it. Again, that should be it. Now I'm checking the tap is closed. I'm going to open the valve. You'll hear some water rushing through. Yeah, it just did. So let me just show that. I just opened this valve fully. That's the valve that feed that side. Check for the leaks. Can't see any leaks as yet. If you're checking for leaks, always return 15-20 minutes later and check, because they may not appear straight away. Now I'm going to open the hot side. You heard a little bit of water coming through. Add a dribble again during turning process. I'll wipe it off and check it, because very often they do have a little dribble during opening and closing, but once it's in fully open position or fully closed, they don't leak. So I'll wipe all that off and check it in a minute. And then we go above and check our tap. To check that our connection is done properly. Left hand side hose for hot. Check that hot water is coming. Yeah, this is hot. And that is cold. And there you go, my friends. That's how to change kitchen tap. It's all connected underneath. That's the bit underneath there. And I'm going to wipe off these fittings and then return in about 10-15 minutes and just double check for any leaks. Hopefully not, but if there are some leaks, I'll have to replace that valve or do something, maybe cut back this pipe here and then put the original nut and fresh olive underneath here if we have any leak here, but I doubt we're gonna have any. Thank you very much, and if you would like to watch some other videos how to do stuff around the house, please let me know, and I'll try to make more videos. Enjoy, all the best. Thank you. Just a little update, 15 minutes later. You can see the valve is dry, both connections are dry, so I can safely say mission successful.